morning and happy Tuesday. Welcome to Tips and Tricks Tuesday. Today we're going to talk a little bit more about Ooma Connect. Specifically, we're going to look at the 4 different configuration options and why a customer may choose one over the other one. So the 4 options are LTE for voice, backup internet, backup plus continuous voice, and primary internet. All right, so let's dig into them. So the first option is LTE for voice. With LTE for voice, the easiest way to think of this is you have 2 separate networks. So they have one network that's running all their data. So all their computers, cameras, point of sale, whatever they're using, whatever kind of data device they have is going to connect to their existing internet service and run out to the internet. The phones, so the Ooma phones, are going to run across the Ooma Connect base station to the antenna to get to the internet. Notice there is no connection at all between these 2 networks. They are physically separated. So if you think about this base station, remember the base station has 1 LAN port and 2 WAN ports. It's got 1 WAN port that's the special one that connects to our Connect antenna. And the second one is just an RJ45, which would typically hand off to their internet router. In this setup, we're not using that WAN port, that RJ45. We're not using it to connect to their router. These are 2 completely physically separated networks. The reason a customer may choose this is maybe this customer is streaming video. So that's very heavy data usage. So because of that, they wouldn't even want it to flip over to our base station because it would eat up that backup bandwidth very quickly. So they're going to keep it completely physically separated. The second option is backup internet. With backup internet, you'll notice that the customer has all of their equipment, their phones, their point of sale, their computers, that's all connected to their switch. Their switch is then connected to the base station, so we're using that LAN port to connect to the switch. Then we're using both WAN ports, the one RJ45, which is connecting to their customer ISP, the other one's connecting to our Ooma Connect antenna. So on a typical day, this connection over here is just going to hang out. So it's just your insurance policy. So all their traffic is going to typically, the Connect is going to know that this is up. So all their traffic is going to typically just run through this connection. So you see here, both voice and data is running this way. So once again, this is just hanging out. This is just that insurance policy in case this goes down. If the Ooma Connect notices that this connection has failed, it'll reroute the traffic and send it across the Ooma Connect antenna. Now remember, because this is just an insurance policy hanging out over here, some months the customer may not use it at all. So they get the 10 gigs of usage per month, so they may not use it. It's just, once again, it's just that insurance policy that's hanging out there in case they need to use it. Other months they might use a portion of it, or they could even use all of it. Or if they go over the 10 gigs, just remember they get charged that overage fee. The next setup is backup plus continuous voice. You'll notice it looks very similar to the connection we just looked at for just backup. So all their equipment is connected to the switch, which is connected to our base station. The base station, once again, is connected to both the customer's ISP as well as the antenna. The big difference here is data and voice are flowing this way as well as voice is flowing the other way. So voice at all times is using both connections to go out. So if a customer picks up the phone, so if they pick up this phone right here to make a call, when that call hits the Connect base station, the base station is going to send that call out both connections. So that call is going to go out our Ooma Connect antenna as well as across their current ISP connection. Whichever call gets back to our data center first. So remember, the voice packets, they're sending out the voice packets both ways. So whichever data packet gets to us first wins. So I know there's been a little bit of confusion about this. I just want to clear it up that continuous voice means that voice is traveling across 2 different connections. You can't have continuous voice unless you have 2 streams, which is why you have to have this backup in place. So we're using that connection to send the voice calls across, as well as across our Ooma Connect antenna. So now if this connection is cut, because this line can be used for backup, for data as well, if the base station recognizes that this goes down, then the voice will continue going across here. So if this connection goes down, you'd notice a slight bleep in your data, right? So if you were trying to load a web page, that web page might give you an error because it wouldn't come up. But if you were talking on the phone, that phone call would stay up because that phone call was going across both connections. And then when this base station realizes this goes down, it'll reroute the data traffic. So the voice traffic is still going across this Ooma Connect antenna, but now the data is added as well. And then the fourth and final setup is probably the easiest one, which is just the primary internet. The customer can pick from 2 different packages depending on what their usage needs are. This one, we're just replacing whatever they have for internet today. So whether that's cable, satellite, DSL, whatever it is, they're getting rid of that altogether, putting in our base station, which connects the antenna, which connects the internet. One thing to keep in mind with primary internet, or really with any of these setups, is if any of these devices, if they want to use Wi-Fi, our base station does not give Wi-Fi, so they would need to put a device that has Wi-Fi, that's Wi-Fi enabled, in order to give Wi-Fi to these different pieces of equipment. All right, if you have any questions about Connect, please send us an email at enablement@ooma.com. Thanks so much for your time today.